I never knew there would come a time I and Ben Shapiro would come to an agreement at any given topic. So Ben Shapiro is not interested, is not excited about how the United Nations has been conducting itself. I am also one of those individuals who is not excited about the United Nations organization, the UN, the United Nations. So this is an organization which was established immediately after the Second World War. Its main objective, I can say, it was to establish peace and a world order which is not which is not in constant chaos. Let's have an observation of what Ben Shapiro had to say about the United Nations.
There's nothing more ridiculous about the UN and nothing more indicative of their corruption than their incessant condemnations of the state of Israel. Since 2015, the UN General Assembly has adopted 140 resolutions criticizing Israel. Over that same period, fewer than 70 resolutions were passed against the rest of the world combined. There are 190 some countries in the world. Over half of all UN Human Rights Council's resolutions targeted Israel in its first decade of operation. Meanwhile, China, Russia, Cuba, Pakistan, they're all part of the UN's top human rights body. China is on the panel monitoring free speech. Iran is the vice chair of the UN Women's Policy Rights Committee. Human rights, disarmament, terrorism prevention, Iran sits on that committee. It's a clown show. Everybody knows it.
We can all agree that this organization was established to ensure there is peace worldwide. Since the establishment of this organization, there have been 258 wars in more than 153 countries worldwide. So Ben Shapiro is correct to say that the United Nations has not actually gone ahead and served its purposes. So there are a lot of individuals, more especially from my continent, who argue that this organization, more especially the International Criminal Court, was established to only persecute individuals from the continent of Africa, which you can agree because most of the individuals who have been prosecuted in the International Criminal Court, they are from Africa. And also there are a lot of confusion, there are a lot of conflicts which the United Nations have observed and they have done nothing about those conflicts. Let's go back to the conflicts which I was saying. Since the establishment of this organization, there have been more than 258 conflicts. Out of these 258 conflicts, the United States, the country which Ben Shapiro is interested to get out of this organization, has started 201 of those conflicts in one, either directly or indirectly. So Ben Shapiro is frustrated that the United Nations organization is not in a position to actually make sure that there is world peace, while its permanent member, that is the United States of America, is constantly going ahead and starting new wars. Some of these wars which the United States of America has gone ahead and started, they were wars which were started just because the United States of America had its own interests. Some of these wars include, we have the Iraq War, which even the United Nations was not ready to allow the United States of America to go ahead. Since the United States is a bully and wants always to get its way, it went ahead and started that war anyway. So more than, I believe, 1 million individuals were killed. There's another war which was a Vietnam War, Kosovo, we have the Korean War, we have Afghanistan War, now we are in Iran War. So I said this was between the establishment of the United Nations and 2001. The United States started 201 wars. So Ben Shapiro doesn't want to get out of the United States, not the United States, but the United Nations, because it's not serving its purpose. It's weak, that is the United Nations. It's not in a position to conduct its own mandate because 28% of its budget is being given by the United States of America. And the United States of America is the big creator of conflicts throughout the world. So Penny Shapiro is frustrated by the United Nations because they are not serving the interest of the United States of America. Not that they are not serving, but sometimes they don't serve the interest of the United States of America and Israel. So Ben Shapiro is lamenting that the United Nations has been against Israel for a long period of time. You have heard him mentioned about the genocide which went on in Rwanda, and the United Nations was not in a position to do to rescue that situation. But that is exactly what is going on when it comes to the Palestinians. Individuals all over have recognized that it's a genocide which is going on against the Palestinians. But what does the United Nations do? They are just citing, they are talking about it, they are writing about it, but there is nothing which is done about it. So for Ben Shapiro, he is quick to judge the United Nations, more especially in its failures which it has made. In that, he will also justify that the crimes which countries like the United States of America, we have the countries like Israel, they are committing these crimes so that the United Nations will not be in a position to make some nuisance, to make them some disturbances, which will prevent the kinds of the United States and also Israel to go ahead and continue committing these crimes. So Ben Shapiro is not actually interested in the UN to be dismantled because it is not doing its job. No, he is interested to ensure that the UN is dismantled such that it cannot bring disturbance, it cannot make individuals aware of the crimes the United States and also Israel and other countries are committing against different people. In this case, one of those countries being one of those places being in Palestine, and also what we are observing in Iran and other places like Venezuela. Also, we have Syria, all of those places which the United States is involved in war. So that's what I'm trying to say. I agree with Penny Shapiro in that the United Nations is not in a position to implement what it was established for. But what I don't agree with Penny Shapiro is that it should be dismantled because it is going against the interests of the United States of America and Israel. So, for instance, the likes of Ben Shapiro is so quick to go ahead and criticize some countries like we have Iran, we have China, we have Russia, of the crimes which they are committing. But when it comes to Israel being criticized for the crimes it's been committing, then that is a no-no for Ben Shapiro. So for those individuals who have been following the cult of Ben Shapiro, who believe that Ben Shapiro, what he is trying to say, what he is trying to air is reasonable, I can proudly say that Penny Shapiro, it's because his feelings have been hurt by facts. It's not that Penny Shapiro is saying something which is convincing. It's because his feelings have been hurt. Anyway, as usual, I request you to go ahead, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comment section. What is your opinion more, especially when it comes to the United Nations? Should it be dismantled because just the likes of Penny Shapiro, their feelings have been hurt, or it should be just bereft to survive on our life support machine? As I've said, we need to reach 1,000 subscribers. I request you to go ahead, subscribe, like, and also don't forget to share. See you in my next one. Siku njema.